happening? What's going on? Go ahead. I was just
Well,
guessing you were going to say that. I was
you
going to try to
see,
say
the
it
thing
longer.
about it is that we've been doing this so long. Even the times where we don't have the HOC, you know
What's going on, world? This is your favorite podcast,
what's
none
happening, what's
other
going
than
on.
the Sports Pros podcast.
Oh, we are
Of
all
course,
the rails with.
he's doing it by himself today because the two best co-hosts in the world are going without him today. Eddie cools off on assignment. Be live.
Oh man, oh man. We're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to stay on the rails, but we've already. I feel like we have already failed that assignment
We
just
we came in
that
out of order.
quickly.
We came in out of order.
It doesn't matter.
That's my fault. That's my
It's,
fault.
it's all right. Man, we've been doing this for 7 years, and I enjoy every bit of this. I enjoy the banter and everything like that. But yes, this be your boy, the Almighty Be Live, 1/3 of the Sports Bros podcast. And you've already heard the money man, Scotty D, the other guy all the way in Washington, Pennsylvania. Did you survive the meteor attack?
I did not have a meteor come my. I had snow. I didn't
Yes.
have the meteor come towards me. At least I didn't. If it did, I was too busy watching high school basketball. I did not see it, but I did see an intense amount of snow on Monday. I cut grass on Sunday and shoveled snow on Monday. That was ridiculous.
I don't
It's
even
March.
know what's going on. Like the fact that there was a whole meteor, quote unquote. I'm not going to feed into the tinfoil hats with that, but what it is, as crazy as 2026 is, with Eddie Cool being on, he's actually on assignment. He didn't. A meteorite did not. A meteor fragment did not hit his area of Cleveland. I think it was a little south of there, but man, craziness ensued. But we're here on a Wednesday because man, our schedules are crazy wild with it. But we said we're going to bring to you an episode because man, we are in the thick of it when it comes to March Madness. How could we start off March Madness without you seeing these lovely faces? And then we're glad to not see Eddie Cool's forehead. But with that being said, we're just going to stick with it's going to be short, sweet, to the point. We're going to talk about March Madness. That is our top of the order.
March Madness special.
All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order.
One. And yes, top of the order, bottom of the order. This is the order. March Madness. We're here. We've already endured two very tight first four games. We got two more tonight, and man, this is you got until about 11 o'clock in the morning to fill out your bracket. You have the Sports Bros bracket challenge 2026. Fill out the bracket. It's free, and all we're gonna do is talk trash during the entirety of the tournament. You
Wait,
know how we do.
I'm not winning any money when I win this.
Man, I haven't been able to pay you in 7 years just for doing the show. Where am I getting the money for a bracket?
Oh man, I thought I was going to take your money.
I mean, we can do a little side bet. We can do a
Look,
little side something.
year in and year out, I have gone into March Madness saying, "Oh man, I feel pretty good about my picks this year." And in the last couple of years, I'm like, "That's false. That's false hope." I never feel good about it. This I have as good a shot this year of someone who's never watched March or basketball at all. You just fill things out and follow the numbers through. I try to be. I try to make an intelligent guess. I try to gather not only what I've seen, which is limited compared to the fact that there's 68 teams. I didn't watch all 68 teams play basketball this year. I watched a handful of basketball as the season went on, and I try to gather information from my eyes and from what I'm hearing other people say, and I try to put it all together. And I don't feel confident about it all, but that's
If
what
there's if
that's what
there's
makes this
somebody
fun.
out, that's what I'm saying. If there's somebody out there in this world that feels confident about filling out these brackets, I would like to meet them because there's no such thing. We already know. Like they even said that the probability of filling out a perfect bracket is like 1 in 21 quintillion.
Yeah,
Like a number that's so large.
doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Like,
But I do think I know this year. I do think I know who the champion is going to be. I think I know it this year.
you think you know it? Well,
I
then,
think I know it.
well, Scotty D, this would be the best time, if any time. Do you want to wait until the end to reveal, or do you want to talk about the
Well,
smoke?
I'll just give you that much. I'll give you that, and then I'll bring the rest along with me. But I said this back in whatever January. I said when it comes time to fill out the brackets, I don't know how I'm going to feel when the time comes, but I don't know how I can picture Duke losing. And there's only one team I think Duke could possibly lose to in this tournament. I'll tell you who that is later, but I do think it's going to be Duke this year. I just they haven't won it since 2015. Coach K was there then. Remember him? Remember Coach K? He's not there any longer. They have a new coach, and he's good.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Duke this year with Cooper Flag and the nipple on the team again this year?
There was a graphic somebody put out that I think there's like 10 players in the NBA right now that would still technically be eligible to be on Duke's roster because they would still be like sophomore, junior, seniors, and it's an insane roster, and it's just hey, it's the nature of the beast. You can't blame these guys for going run and getting the money. And Cooper Flag and Con Knipple are balling right now. One of them is going to win Rookie of the Year, and one of them is going to be. It's literally 1A. I think it's 1A and 1B. Me as a diehard Charlotte Hornet fan, thank you. Free the nipple. Let's go. Dude is balling.
Yeah, can you imagine if they were back again this March? Wow.
It wouldn't even be close. But that's the nature of the beast. So you say off rip that you see nobody beating Duke. The
one team maybe. There's one team that can trip them up, and we'll get into that as we talk a little bit more.
Well, Eddie Cool, he has provided us with his Final Four picks, and he is also picking Duke to win it all. So two of us here are picking Duke, and of course, you know me. I can't. I have to go against the grain.
All roads lead to Dabo.
Absolutely not. First of all, you mind? We're here now. We're absolutely here now. Screw the freaking the selection committee. Y'all can kiss my natural. So y'all just don't care about Clemson on both sides, on women's and men's. Watch this. I'm gonna throw this out here real quick. On the men's side of the ball, Clemson is facing Iowa 8-9 matchup. Clemson's 8, Iowa's 9.
They gave him the higher. They gave him the higher number.
Yep, they gave the higher number. But if Clemson just so happens to beat Iowa, which is not an easy task, then they will most likely face a number 1 seeded Florida, which is one of the hotter teams.
Are you counting out that 16 seed automatically, which is
Prairie
View, Lehigh winner?
Yeah, the reigning defending national champion Florida Gators. Yeah, I think I am.
I think only twice in the past decade has a champion gone back the next year and gotten to the Sweet 16. So it's in Clemson's favor. They set you up for success.
Well, maybe. All I know is that Clemson, Iowa will most likely be the slowest, most boringest game you've ever seen in basketball. They are very known for slowing down the pace, defensive basketball. So, let's see how that goes. On the women's side of things, mind you, you've got a Clemson, they're seeded 8th as well on the women's side, facing a number 9 Southern Cal. Number 9 Southern Cal.
They're 9?
They're ranked 9. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Juju Watkins got hurt. She's out for the season.
She tore Achilles or something earlier in the year, I think.
So they without their star player, they went from being one of the top teams in the country to being a 9 seed. That doesn't mean they're not a great team, but it doesn't really matter because if Clemson just so happens to beat Southern Cal, guess who they have to face in the next round? Just take a wild freaking guess who Clemson would have to face in the second
women's
round. In the women's.
Iowa and Caitlin Clark.
Just please, stay on topic for once. in your life.
You said guess. That was my guess. Maybe it wasn't a good one.
It was that's not even a guess. That's just you. That's you trolling. That wasn't a guess. Just
South Carolina.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Like why? Just why would you do this? It's like it's not gonna happen. So this gonna sound weird. I almost want Clemson women to lose just so you can have the battle of the USCs. University of South Carolina versus University of Southern Cal.
Or so Clemson doesn't get beat by the Gamecocks.
That pretty much that too.
That's why.
You know what I'm saying? Be honest with you.
That's why you're not selling the USC thing. That's meaningless.
It's not to people in South Carolina. It's meaningless to most people, but not to like they want that title. They want to be the real USC. Trust me.
They both are USC.
But do you know?
That's what the initials are. U of SC in both cases. Okay.
No. See, right. that right there is also a point of contention because South Carolina has taken on the moniker of U of SC because it's more widely known that USC stands for University of Southern California. But that's neither here nor there. I'm literally going off on a tangent because
they're literally identical. Anyway, back to men's basketball. Let's talk about the stuff we care about here.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's talk about it. As I alluded to, the two fellas opposite of me going for Duke. I think Duke is a little too injured to make it that deep. I believe I gotta pull up my bracket. I have Duke going to the Final Four. I have them going to the Final Four, but I feel like this team was so close last year. They're clicking on all cylinders. They did not win the Big 12, but I think they can. I think they can handle anybody. Really, I have Houston beating Duke in the Final Four, and I have Houston winning it all. On the other side of the bracket, I'm sort of doing this because of two of my very good friends, but also I actually do believe in their basketball programs. On the other side of the Final Four, I have Arkansas versus Michigan. John Calipari, I think, has them. John Calipari has a pedigree. He knows how to play in big games. So I think they're in a prime position. Arkansas did win the SEC tournament. They won it over the likes of Florida, the likes of Alabama, the likes of other teams and such in the SEC, pretty strong basketball conference. And then you have Michigan. Michigan will avenge that loss in the Big Ten, and I feel like they're one of the top teams in the country. And I don't see too many teams getting in front of them. I think they've got an easy route through their through their region. You got an Alabama team that's now without their second leading scorer because he wants to be a drug kingpin on the side. Jesus Christ, what are we doing? But there's all types of side stories and everything about this. But yeah, I want to ask before you reveal the rest of your Final Four and everything. How do you feel about, because this is one of the big talks, how do you feel about Miami of Ohio? They went undefeated during the regular season, lost in the quarterfinals of their conference tournament. And
so
now
Akron, was that who beat them? Was it Akron that beat them?
UMass.
UMass beat them. Okay.
UMass beat them. And the reason that is a important point that I'm going to allude to in a little bit. Of who they lost to on top of the competition in the conference to start with. But do you think that Miami, Ohio deserves more than to play in the first four? Because they're playing tonight just to get into the 64.
I kind of did, but as I told you guys last week, I did not buy them. I didn't believe them. I didn't believe they were we were actually talking about what line they would be in. I was saying that assuming they were going to win their conference championship. I think I thought they might be 6 or 7. And I don't know whoever won the conference. I didn't see where they got seated. Who was it? Akron that ended up winning that championship?
I couldn't even tell you that.
I don't recall that, but or where they fell in line. And I think had they won it, they probably would have had a little bit of a better seed. But I don't buy them because they didn't have anybody. They didn't play anybody very good. I mean, they're obviously a good team. You don't win that many games. I still thought they should have done better than the first four. But I mean, where would you have put them in the 16th seed against Duke or Arizona? They weren't going to get much higher. And obviously the committee was going by a formula, not just the record, but the team that finished second. They probably, by losing, they may have knocked somebody else out of the tournament by slipping out of the, had they won, they would have got the automatic bid. By losing, whoever else won the MAC, which I still don't even remember who it was, they got the automatic.
It was Akron.
It was Akron. Okay, that's what I thought. So Akron took that automatic bid that they probably wouldn't have gotten, and Miami of Ohio was rewarded still by having such a great record by getting invited to the dance. But yeah, and they're having a dream season. They didn't get to win their conference championship, and I think they're going to lose to SMU tonight, and maybe not even get into the field of the first Thursday or Friday of the day. And they won't even make it onto the big show. They're in the opening round, so we'll see. I mean, I just it's sad to see that if they come away with nothing, literally nothing, like without a tournament win and without a conference championship after having such a great season. But they could prove me wrong. Maybe they go beat SMU tonight. Maybe they get hot. I mean, it's been known to happen before. Teams have won the opening round game, have gone on and won a few games. So we'll see tonight. But I am not holding out much hope for them. But to your point, yeah, I do feel like they should have done better than the first four.
The first four is designed for the lowest four conference champions and the lowest for the last four in. So at large bid. So they said that Miami, Ohio was one of the last four in after it's all said and done. But here's the thing, I will tell this, and I'll tell it to anybody and everybody. You can't lose, and you definitely can't lose to a team that was ranked plus, it was a quad 4 loss when they lost to UMass. You can't lose, you just can't lose quad 4 games. UMass was ranked, I want to say, 207 in the net rankings.
I don't even think I knew UMass was in that conference.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
how little I know about that about UMass. I thought they were in a different conference.
The reason why I know that they're in this conference is because I just happened to come across who they lost to. Miami of Ohio, we wouldn't be talking about this if they didn't have an undefeated season. So, I mean, kudos to them for having what they did in the regular season. But conference tournament matters. So somebody got left out. But yeah, when it comes to the last four in, that's what those first four games are. Because you got two teams that are 11 seeds. I think the other two are somewhere hidden in there. It doesn't matter at this point in time. But that's what the games are for. And we'll see if Miami of Ohio can actually put together a win against a quad 1 opponent in SMU. So that because they have this will be
the best team they've played this year, really.
Yep. And this is where you earn it.
Okay, so tell me who did Eddie have as his 4? We know he picked Duke to win it, as I did.
He had Duke in Florida. Florida coming out of the South region, Duke coming out of the East region. And he had Purdue coming out of the West region, number 2 seed, and he had Michigan coming out of the Midwest region, the number 1 seed.
Okay. And he had Duke beating.
He had Duke beating Florida, had Michigan beating Purdue, and then he had Duke winning
Michigan. Duke, Michigan. That would be good. So I got to tell you, there are some intriguing matchups coming through here, and especially the East bracket that Duke is the number 1 seed of, and I'm rooting against Cinderella because I want to see some of these good matchups. if you look at some of the coaches that are in that, Izzo's in that group, Hurley is in that group, Bill Self, Jamie Dixon at TCU. They do what they do every year with Jamie Dixon teams. They have good regular seasons, get in the tournament, and he ends up in the 8-9, which TCU I think has done before. They may be at Ohio in the first round, but they're going down to Duke in the second. The one that intrigues me the most is in the Sweet 16, Duke and St. John's. That is a Rick Pitino team that is playing well, and they didn't have any real big wins outside of their conference. But that's Pitino in March, and if they can put it together and give Duke a run, that's the only one I think that could trip Duke up. I really think that's if they beat. I think if they beat St. John's, they win. I got St. John's winning their opening game against Northern Iowa. Then I got them beating Kansas. Kansas didn't sell me. Remember, we were talking about that last week. I said, let's see how Kansas does in the Big 12. I think they won their first game and then got clobbered in their second game. And I'm not sold on that team. I'd go with Pitino over Self, and then Duke and St. John's. That's one I would like to see. And I really would love to see Michigan State advance through and have Izzo taking another crack at Tom Izzo in his 28th straight NCAA tournament appearance. That dude sniffs a cup every year. He's always right around there. I think he's only won one, maybe been to a couple other finals. He only has, I think, the one championship, but he gets them boys playing well every year. They play a rugged schedule early every year. They are battle tested. They're ready to go. So I have them beating UConn to get to that Duke matchup. That's an intriguing one. And where's the bracket with Houston? If Houston and Florida if they hold the form, that game would be a rematch of last year's national championship, and it would be in Houston. I got Vanderbilt upsetting Florida in that round before that.
Oh, but, yeah. Me and you both, my friend.
Yeah, I have Vanderbilt knocking Florida off, but I wouldn't mind being wrong if I could see Florida-Houston in Houston, the revenge game. That would be pretty cool to see that. So that's a couple intriguing things. Here's my Final Four. Let me give you my Final Four, B-Live, since we're on the topic of our picks. So I got I before we came on, I told you something that was incorrect. I'm looking at what I chose. I got Duke and Houston, with Duke winning, obviously. And on the other side, I have Arizona, and I picked Virginia when I went through my brackets.
Ooh, okay.
Virginia impressed me. They did not beat Duke in the ACC championship, but they had them on the ropes. And that's another reason why I like Duke, because they probably needed pushed. They had a difficult task. They did get pushed, and Virginia played really well. And I got Duke beating Virginia in the finals.
Oh, gotcha. So I have Virginia making it to the Elite Eight, but losing to Michigan. I have Vanderbilt beating Florida, but I have Houston beating Vanderbilt in the Elite Eight. I have Duke and I have Louisville coming out of
really?
Yeah. Louisville is I feel like they're a sleeper. Like I feel like it's one of those things where you look at a Louisville team, they've lost a couple really bad games, but like I think they have the talent to go against anybody. I'm not convinced with UConn. I have UConn going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But I'm not really convinced. I feel like there will be an upset in there. My Cinderella.
I got Louisville losing in the first round.
Ooh. South Florida. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about Louisville.
Man.
So you would have Louisville beating Michigan State, knocking off Izzo.
Yep.
So you have Louisville.
I have Louisville beating Michigan State and UConn.
And losing to Duke?
Losing to Duke, yeah.
Okay. So you do have Duke in the Final Four.
Yes, I do have Duke in the Final Four. I have a couple Cinderellas I have out there. I feel like High Point will win against Wisconsin. And High Point
I've heard good things about them too. I've heard that.
Yeah. I have Texas, and I have Kennesaw State beating Gonzaga. My nephew graduated from Kennesaw State, so that may be just a homer pick for me. But this is their first time ever making it to the tournament. I feel like it's a growing program. I feel like they could shock the world. So I have Kennesaw State versus Texas, 11 versus 14 in the round of 32. I have Texas winning, making it to the Sweet 16, losing to Purdue. So that's one of my little sleepers. And then I have I have the winner of Miami, Ohio, or SMU. I have them beating Tennessee, but that's about as far as my double digit seeds. I have Santa Clara beating Kentucky. I don't believe in Kentucky at all. I haven't believed in
I,
them. Yeah, so
I don't either.
just throwing out a couple double digits. I have Texas A&M beating St. Mary's, so that I have a couple double digit winners. But besides, we're back real quick. Mess around with Zoom. Zoom said, "Hold on, wait a minute, you're doing too much." We back though, but yeah, it's when I tell you that this is going to be an interesting situation. Like I said, not too many double digits, and I think we talked about this a couple years ago when we really started talking about the transfer portal, NIL, and stuff like that, where like the rich get richer, something like that. We're not going to see as many Cinderella teams as we used to and everything. Um, it's I still think we still get a certain level of excitement when it comes to the smaller schools winning their conferences. I think here's one thing that I think I've seen, and Scotty D, maybe you could help me out with this. I think there's even more excitement now when those smaller conferences, when those teams win their conference. There was a lot of actual upsets. There were a lot of one seeds and like the mid-major conferences that did not win their conference, and so therefore, but they didn't have enough of a resume to make in that large bid. So that's why you see a lot of multiple bids from your major conferences. But you did see a lot of like, ooh, okay, all right, I see you. Um, and a lot of excitement in the mid-major conferences and stuff like that. I think the writing is sort of on the wall when it comes to college basketball. Is that winning your conference means the world to a lot of these kids. They're like, well, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna go to the big dance, we're gonna try our best and everything like that. But yeah, winning the conference, when some of these conference championships were like nail biters. Cool.
Yeah.
Like
I heard it said today, well, Michigan, they're going in as number one. They really didn't care about the conference championship. I don't know if I believe that. I think they would like to have that trophy and have that experience. They just got beat. Purdue beat them. But you can't tell me on watching Saturday night that game, that conference ACC championship didn't mean anything
right.
to
Yeah.
Duke and Virginia. They wanted it. They weren't like, well, I'm not only going to give 80% effort because this isn't March Madness. This is just no, that's not. I don't buy that. But I do think maybe winning a conference championship would mean more to the mid majors and the smaller conferences because they know their chance of actually going on Michigan was probably bummed that they lost, but they know that there's still a bigger prize out there that is coming their way. Whereas if you win the MAC, if you're Akron, your chances are not super high to go in and knock off some of these Goliaths to win the national championship.
And this is one thing. I think it's more the fans than anything because I got a friend of mine, my boy Jose, is a diehard Duke fan. He was hoping that Clemson beat Duke in like the because he was like, man, we need rest. He's like, our players are hurt, and I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
There's that too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's because he knew because Duke has been unanimous number one for a good minute now. Regardless of what was going to happen in the conference, they were going to be probably the overall number one. It may have flipped between Arizona and Duke, but even with that, they would have still been in their respective like like regions. If Arizona would have been the overall number one, they would have gotten the West, which they still did. So it really didn't shuffle anything. Michigan, even though not winning their conference, they still ended up the number one seed in the Midwest. So they don't have to travel that far. Florida's the number one seed in the South. So it ended up working out best case scenario for a lot of teams, like except for Clemson. But
and Pitt.
Oh yeah, Pitt, yeah. And they didn't make it.
So all right, so I got you. You have Duke in your Final Four. Who were your other four? Your other three?
I have Duke coming out of the East. I have Houston coming out of the South. I have Arkansas coming out of the West, and I have Michigan coming from the Midwest. Number 4 seed Arkansas coming out of the West, and number 2 Houston, and Duke and Michigan being number 1 seeds. I have Houston beating Duke. I have Arkansas beating Michigan, and then I have Houston finally cutting down
off the schneid. Okay, Houston over Arkansas. You're rolling with Calipari.
I am. As much as I don't like Calipari, I think it's a breath of fresh air in Arkansas.
And I think likewise for him because he was kind of stalling his tires out in the mud there in Kentucky the last couple of years. They weren't really getting better. He was getting really good players that would play for a year, go to the NBA. He wasn't building anything there, and I think maybe he needed a fresh start, and Kentucky likewise did. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if you are correct and they do go through, and it's interesting to see if Kentucky indeed stalls out against Santa Clara in the first round or if they get hot and go on a run. But nonetheless, we are on the eve of March Madness, and I'm excited for it.
We'll find out with a couple of games tonight, man. We'll see if Miami of Ohio deserves to be in. Can they hang with the big boys? Can they make a run? We'll find out. And then the madness starts where you have all the multiple screens up in your office. 11 o'clock, Paramount, CBS, True TV, TNT.
Every year I think I'm taking next year's Thursday and Friday off, and I didn't do it again this year, but maybe next year I will. I'll take the first days off. But
I work at night, so guess what I'll be doing in the morning? I'll be all the screens working.
I envy you. My winter sports season ended yesterday. I did my final state basketball playoff game yesterday. Today is the off season, and tomorrow the spring season begins. So I will be in the booth, PA announcing for high school lacrosse tomorrow instead of watching March Madness for those couple hours. But I will have my eyes on the screen and watching and following along our picks. And if you're watching, you want to join us, BLive has that link out there, and you can play along with us for free and not win BLive's money, but just some talking points for the next episodes, the upcoming episodes of our SportsBros podcast starring Scott Donnelly.
Oh, you had to sneak that in there, didn't you? With that being said, we said we were just coming with March Madness. We'll come back next week with all the choice of the voices, the walk-off shot, and all the things, the top of the order, and all those things. But at this point in time,
and if you want to if you want to comment on your favorite all-time March Madness, that's still up on our Facebook pages too. we'll do that next week as well.
Perfect, perfect. That is the choices of the voices. We'll reconvene next week. And I guess what's the best way to do it? And in closing, do
Yes,
something
sir.
do something nice for yourself and do something nice for
Yeah,
someone else.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
entertain, enlighten, yeah, whatever.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
we're gone. I don't do this part at all. I just do the last part. Yes, sir. Episode 334, 7 years, the Sports Bros podcast. And I'm out.